And I'm curious and wonder, what was it that you've learned? And I'd love for you to share what come up for you from our three speakers. And I guess also, what is it that you can take away? So either come on live, or you can certainly pop it on in the chat.
Well, I'm happy to pop something in. Look, I've appreciated, especially the topics on resilience and building a strong mindset. I think that's something really important for leaders in particular, because the people that depend on us depend on us being strong, as long as it's a healthy strength that we're going to be demonstrating for them. And I suppose part of that strength being vulnerability as well. So that's something that we need to be resilient as well as vulnerable, and our people actually need to be able to see that is okay to be.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Yadra. And I got a lot of messages from what you just shared with us. Isn't it incredible and interesting how we do expect our leaders to be resilient, for us to be able to lean on our leaders? But who are our leaders leaning on? So that's also really important too, to be mindful of, and also maybe have in the back of our minds, are we being there for each other as well? Because often leaders who perhaps aren't as resilient, but think that they need to play the part because they own that title, often retaliate or react. And it's because they don't have, I guess, the tools and the skills to be resilient, to help and to support their staff. Would you agree? I notice that a lot in organisations.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Particularly at this time when we've never experienced anything like this before. You know, this is all new to everybody, and there's so many barriers at the moment and so many challenges, you know, even communication. Look at us here today. You know, usually when we speak in front of people, and, you know, we're not sort of stuck and confined in the boundaries of our own home. So this is all new as well. So I guess adjusting to and being in an environment which is totally different to an environment when we're in our work environment. You know, when we're in our work environment, we put on our work environment hat, and it's almost like a protective gear for us, a protective shield, if you will. But then we're in our own home, and so we bring a different mindset as well. So it's really important to. I see you nodding, Madhu. What do you think? What's your take on this?
Definitely, Alex. So the thing is, as human beings, we are wired for certainty. So our brains does look for patterns, look for familiarity. So the moment it hits something which is unknown, the immediate reaction is anxiety, is frustration, is fear. So I think those leaders want to show up at their best, sort of our evolution and our brains are actually failing them, like in a way, unless they consciously take control of what's happening, because otherwise they may be, like you said, trying really hard to be resilient, but it just doesn't show up in the way they come across, and instead they're actually just defending and actually projecting their fears and their need for control on their teams, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Madhu. And I think it was Nicole or someone who mentioned it about, one of the girls did anyway, just in the previous discussions about fear. And, you know, I sort of noticed too in the conversations I've been having with leaders within organisations over the past month or so, that there has been a lot of reactive behaviour from leaders going into fear mode, not knowing what to do. And so as a result, they've been reactive, and it's been devastating for their teams. It's been almost debilitating for their teams. It's created even more stress for the team members, even more so. So not only are we dealing with what's going on with the crisis, but there's also crisis upon crisis upon crisis. And that's where unplanned leave sort of goes through the roof, and people start to take, you know, more time off. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more there. And I think that's something that will be, is a concern at this time for so many employers, so many people in the workplace situation, especially now with all these restrictions, and I would say that people working from home is creating a lot of uncertainty, and not only in having to work within a new system they're unfamiliar with, but not knowing what system they're going to be coming back to. So uncertainty.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it going for you, Greg, if you don't mind me asking, in your beautiful space over there, which I haven't been to in a while? You're muted. Oh, Greg's muted.
Whoops. Let me unmute. I think all of us are trying to unmute Greg. I've let go.
There we
go.
Unmuted.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, yeah. Well, for the benefit of others, I run a hotel, so my life is reasonably miserable at the moment,
Yes.
and it is very challenging. But and keeping the steering the ship and maintaining the leadership and keeping people up and about is my job at the moment, along with managing a whole bunch of landlords who need to be who are not getting paid. So it is quite frankly a miserable experience. So
there'll be a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on your shoulders right now, Greg.
yeah, indeed. So it's definitely been one of the most challenging times of my business career, no doubt. But we're part of a group, the Quest group, and the support from head office has been very good. So I will be jumping on a group webinar at 2:00, the weekly catch up. And but I think that I have said to people, I will come out of this. I'll come out of this experience a better business owner. I will not be a wealthier one, but I will be a better business owner.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that thinking. And how incredible is it and how wonderful is it that we will come out the other end and you will come a better business owner, but also then you'll have that knowledge and the experience and the strategies in place for when anything like this ever is to happen again, we'll know exactly how to better manage it rather than going into panic mode and thinking, shit, what do we do next?
And just change the topic a little. I did enjoy the first presentation a lot because that was prior to this business. I had a little stint in business coaching, and now I know why maybe I wasn't so good at it, because I wasn't sure whether I was coaching or mentoring.
Yeah, interesting topic, wasn't it? It was definitely an eye opener.
Yeah, that was great. That's probably something I would like to further explore, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. Hey, Wendy, welcome. How are you? You're muted. We need to unmute Wendy.
Thank you. I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm helping my daughter with Graham homeschooling, so it's a bit of a juggle, and I've had B&I and blah, blah, blah. So,
and that's fine. Absolutely. And thank you for joining us. But we were just talking about challenges and those, I guess, bits and pieces, the obstacles that we're experiencing during these times.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about where you're at with all of what's going on.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Where do I start? Well, so I'm very involved in B&I, and I am president of our chapter, and we are a very successful chapter in terms of growth. And so getting that online has been a massive thing for us, and we're extremely good at it. I don't mind telling you, and taking quite a lot of pride in the team that I work with. So that takes a lot of my effort. And between that and organising Coaching Connect and still maintaining some clients and homeschooling 2 of my grandchildren and study, blah, 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 I'm just juggling everything. And I feel I'm really using the time where I'm not travelling really well to maximise that. So lots of study, lots of learning, and very engaged with this, just trying to give back to people. So I've started my own series of webinars, which has been really a bit scary when I first started them, but I finally got over myself and decided I just needed to do it. So I've been doing, I called them Leading for Success. So I've done 4 now, and pretty comfortable with how that's going and just learning from the feedback I'm getting. So yeah, just making the most of it all.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Sounds really exciting. Sounds like you have got a lot on the go.
Yeah.
And thank you too for running those amazing webinars. I think it's really important now that we give back as much as we possibly can and be there for each other as much as possible too. You know, we all sort of need that support. Particularly during these times. So I see that we've got about 13 people on, and I'd love to hear your experiences. We've only got a few on here, and I said to Yadra, I'd love to connect with everyone and see everyone. I'm a real connector. So if you guys can turn on your computer, on your, what is it, your video thing? I'm not technical, by the way. It'd be really nice to connect during the lunch break and hear your, I guess, you know, your perspective on how you found this morning. What did you love about the speakers? I would love to hear and share your experience with us. Amy spoke lots about, I guess, the difference between mentoring and coaching. Huge distinction right there. Beck touched on resilience and spoke a lot about growth mindset and compassion, which is really, really key at this point in time. And of course, Nicole shared with us a vulnerable moment with her and her family and what they experienced and what they went through in the adversity and about joy and happiness. And so I'd really love to hear what you loved in the first session. Even if you come on with your tzatziki and your souvlaki, I don't care. Bring your curry along. Come on. Your daughter is called Joy too, Nicole. That's fantastic. What a beautiful name. Well done.
It after, well, she was born after all of our challenges. So yes.
Wow. I love that. How beautiful is that? So was that obviously that's intentional?
Yes. Yes.
How beautiful. That's really nice. So guys, I trust you can hear me in there. Hey, Laurellen. I think you're muted. Would you like to unmute? Thank you for joining us. That's awesome. I don't know that I can unmute you. There we go. Hello. You're on.
I am. I'm here. I was just eating peanuts and I thought, you guys don't need to watch me eat peanuts.
It's okay. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Go for it. It's free. So tell me, if you don't mind me asking, I'll put you on the spot. What did you love about the first session? And
Yep. So a bit like the others, I've sort of been jumping in and out, but was it Nicole that I was listening to with the resilience and, talking about the empathy and so forth. And that really resonated with me as a leader. They're the sort of traits that I really pride myself on with my team, and things that, in this interesting time that we're in, are just so important to not drop the ball on.
Yeah.
And, I find that with my team, they oscillate between being really optimistic and full of anxiety.
Okay.
It's a real high and low. And so just being able to remember to, just be patient with them and, and I'm regularly having those conversations around, just remember that we're all people, and there's no expectations at the moment. This is a really different time. None of us have been there. So lots of what she was saying really, resonated with what I'm already doing. But I'm also, I'm asking them to show empathy too, to remember that the people that are leading them are going to get this really, really right. And we're going to see some amazing leadership, and they're going to get it really, really wrong. And we're going to see some really bad stuff come out of it too. But that's just roll with the punches, keep your chin up. And it's okay to have bad days, and, it's okay to have great days. And just, really trying to, remember that we're all just human.
I love that. I love that you're bringing your human. A lot of leaders tend to forget to bring their human in this instance, or even generally speaking, and they've they come in with their hat on and forget to take it off and just bring the human connection, because that's really key, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was mentioned was, we seem to be on these Zoom calls and team calls and Skype calls and FaceTimes all of the time, and it really is time consuming. And when you are working from home, everything takes that little bit longer. Yeah. And my team have a very high volume of work, and they're quite renowned for their outputs. And this is this creates a struggle for them. because our workload has reduced significantly. And at the same time, we're having these challenges where we can't work at the same pace. So that, you know, I struggle because I find that I am on these calls all the time, but I kind of need to be, because I'm a bit like the, I don't know, what is it, like the counselor to them? Like, you know, I like that constant that we're talking about, that, you know, in this time of uncertainty, you need some sort of certainty. And what I can provide to them is being there for them whenever they need me. You know,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I do find it takes up a lot of my time, but it's so worth it just, you know, to maintain them, like their levels of motivation. In saying that, one of the things that I love that's come out of all of this is the innovation that we're seeing and how quickly and rapidly businesses are changing. And where in the past you'd have that bureaucracy that you'd need to go through to get things happen, I can imagine these big round tables of leaders sitting there going, I've got an idea, and somebody going, just go do it, just give it a try. You know, it doesn't really matter. And I mean, as a HR professional, they're the, you know, that's like the utopia, isn't it? Is that people are just going to give things a go. And
how cool's that? Yeah.
It's just so awesome. And, you know, there's so much fun stuff going on, and people are finding that they can do things, that it is okay to make mistakes. And the other, like the flip side of that too is I'm hearing a lot of, when we come out of this, we'll be so much better educated. You know, we'll have cleaned out the Tupperware cupboards, and we'll have gone for a walk every day. And I just, I keep bringing it back to my team that don't put that kind of pressure on yourselves. You know, some of this is a gift, but some of this is just the situation that we're in. And you know what, if you come out of this and you haven't achieved a single thing, it's absolutely okay.
Oh, you're beautiful. I love what you've just said. That is so key. That is so key. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Rebecca said that can you see the comments there? Is it Lorellen? Just so that I can pronounce your name right. Yeah. Is it Lorellen?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. So, Beck was saying that she loved what you just shared. What was Wendy saying there? I've had to learn a new level of empathy. Yeah, Wendy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it is a huge thing. And if you don't mind me asking, thanks so much for sharing on that, Lauren. That's awesome. And your team are so very lucky to have a leader like yourself. I think it's really, really key to remember who we are, where we're at, and the position we hold, but also that we also are human, and it's okay to lean in on our own emotions too.
It's very kind of you to say that. I'm always conscious that I would never call myself a great leader, but I really try hard to be there for them. You know, like someone's got to set the tone. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind me asking, if it's okay, if you don't want to answer, I'm cool with that. But what is it? So you mentioned HR. So you're in the HR profession?
Oh, yeah. So, sorry, I work for GPC, Asia Pacific. So GPC are a global business, but the Asia Pacific business owns brands such as Repco and Ashdown Ingram. And so we're in the aftermarket parts space, and I head up the ANZ recruitment team.
Nice. And how many staff do you have?
I have 5 people that report to me.
Awesome. Yep. Fantastic. 5 very lucky people. Well done. Thanks, Laurel. And that's awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks for tuning in, and stay on. Let's enjoy. So we've got 13 people still there, participants. I can see you. I'd like you to come on, Suvlaki and all, Peter. Come on, jump on and tell us a little bit about what it is that... Hi, Darsheni. It's great to have you. Thank you for linking in. Pop on, bring your photo on as well, and let's share a nice little afternoon together till 2 o'clock. Putting the pressure on ourselves, which is so important. Appreciate not consciously. Yes, absolutely, Darsheni. So I see 2 more people coming on. How's that Suvlaki going, Peter? Get it down. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I've enjoyed, if I may share, I enjoyed all 3 speakers. I think they all brought an incredible, powerful piece to the puzzle. And I know that we have another. Hey, Darsheni, welcome. How are you? So good to have you here. And I've really, really enjoyed. That's okay, Greg. Thanks so much for joining us. Absolutely. That's fine. I've enjoyed each and every one of them, because I think that we all bring a piece to the puzzle to be able to put it together and to to bring as much value as we possibly can to this space, so that when we go away today, we can implement something, even if it's a different way of thinking, even if it's a different way of articulating something, even if it's anything whatsoever, just to bring to our team and to make it that little bit more easier to manage, which is the purpose why we created this summit as well. I think it's important we all bring as much value as possible. So Darshini, I'd love to hear from you. Come off mute. Can we bring Darshini off mute? Can I do that, or does Darshini have to do it? I've no idea. No technicality whatsoever. Peter, what are we doing? Hopefully we will return to a new normal very soon. I'm sort of loving this, Pete. I'm loving this home thing. Okay, Darshini, hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, brilliant. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Alex, and all the lovely speakers. I have been running in and out during my morning, and just writing down a few gold moments here and there, and nuggets of gold.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in. Is there anything in particular that stood out for you?
Yes, absolutely. Like for me, just all of the talks are fantastic. But for me, the resilience and the challenges you face for being resilient, obviously in this time and age, for me, I'm looking for a job just to support my family now, because we're in that situation where we've got a mortgage and, we need to, but my mindset is still above the line, which is quite amazing,
Awesome.
Well
done.
Every day I get up and I do my TCI stuff, and I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying life. It's not doom and gloom and everything's come to an end sort of thing. And that's important. And I think that with resilience for me, that rings a bell really, really strong. And and seeing the opportunities out there for myself to go out there and experience whatever it is, whether it's finding a job or just applying for one or going for an interview, or you know, or even working with teams or people, or
that's awesome.
For me, it's a big thing. So
it is a big thing, and thank you for sharing that too. And I can only imagine, and I guess I know, being in that industry, how difficult it is, particularly looking for work at the moment. But you mentioned about being above the line, and you know what? We are human. I think Laurellen touched on it before. It's okay to fall below the line every so often. You've got to remember you are human. So long as you don't live down there for too long, it's freaking dark and miserable. You don't want to be there for too long. So lift yourself back up. But it's okay to be there every so often, because we're human. End of story. We're not going to pretend to be this thing that we're not. But what I'm loving is that you're able to sort of traverse through your emotions, and you are so self-aware. And you know that, okay, I'm feeling shit today. I'm not coping with this stuff. But then you bring yourself back up and try and find different strategies, different thinking, ways of thinking, and to bring it, because it is a tough thing when there's no work.
Yeah, absolutely.
My God, that's your livelihood at stake, and we've got to support our family, and it's a scary place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can obviously become, put yourself in a bubble and not.
Yes.
And still think, okay, everything's going to be okay, or the other way around, where nothing's going to be okay, from now on. So and just,
that's exactly right.
Yeah, and being aware, that's so key. I think it's just being aware of what we're feeling and how we're feeling. And like you say, some days when you do feel like a bathroom floor moment, that's fine. But as long as we can pick ourselves up and move through those emotions, I think having that awareness, I think, is so important.
Absolutely. And you know what? Tapping in and linking in with people too is really important. The reason I say that is over the past year, I've been working with a lot of unemployed people, whether it's long-term or even just recently suddenly become employed. And, one of the things I keep hearing is that but I thought I was able to get a job straight away. You know, I thought I was better than that. I thought I had all the credentials I needed. My goodness, I've been a professional now for 30 years. How come all of a sudden I can't? And it's this feeling of deflation, this feeling of incompetence, this feeling of not good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's about remembering that. And what I say to a lot of people is, look, I can't even imagine what it would be like. And I know that I have been there myself too, but, you know, just got to keep at it. And there's so many people out there in the same boat. So linking into people, with people, checking in and just having that support's absolute key.
Yeah, and I think the support is phenomenal. I mean, right from the top, from the government to, you know, you're right down to your family members, and then in between, you know, just connecting with so many different groups and being on, you know, social media and Zoom and, you know, whatever we use to connect, you know, and that's boomed in a big way. But also recognizing that you can be as educated as you could possibly be and still be in a situation where you could be jobless right now.
Yes.
And that's
absolutely.
okay. Yeah.
That's right. And it doesn't make you a lesser person. It's just the way, it's just what's happening out there at the moment. And we just got to roll with the punches and, you know, not be so critical of self and be cool with yourself. I think being really kind to yourself is important. We tend to sort of be so judgmental of self. And here he is. Hello, Peter, and welcome.
Hello. Sorry for the delay. You know, I'll try to finish my souvlaki.
That's okay.
First of all, I want to say, you know, I'm really impressed about all the participants and the speakers so far. It was really because of my job and I'm doing a lot of teleconference with my colleagues and staff. We'll try to stay connected, and also I'm participating in a lot of seminars. I think this is the best.
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate it. Before I get to you, Darshani, I just want to thank you so much for sharing what you've shared with us and for your vulnerability too. It means a lot.
You're welcome.
And know that we are all in this together, and you know that. You know, we've connected before outside of this forum, but certainly we've always got each other to fall back on. And so, thank you so much for sharing too what you loved. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure that Beck and Nicole and all the other speakers are appreciative of your feedback too.
Thank you so much, Alex, and thank you for putting me on, sort of being impromptu, and I love it. So that's payback time.
I've got a bad tendency of doing that. I'm sorry, but no worries. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Loving it.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate your beautiful little speech there, and it's great to have you on. You got some tzatziki going on just down there.
Yes. I'll try to figure out, but it was a lot. So I own you. You know, I will try to put in for Rebecca and you as well to tzatziki. It's already ordered, so it's coming on the way.
No worries. So you mentioned that you've really enjoyed the speakers so far. Have you attended many of these forums yet, or
yes, because it's common right now, many people to communicate through teleconference, and I think we don't have another option, don't we?
No, we don't, which is probably a good thing, you know. We've met so many people and we're networking and connecting with so many different people, which I suppose, given if it was the way it was, we probably wouldn't have the opportunity because of geographically speaking and stuff, you know, all the limitations.
Definitely.
So I think this has been a really good thing in that we've all come together and met so many people and connected.
Definitely. I think it's time to think. It's a restart for ourselves to think about what we need and what we want to be. And as very successfully Rebecca before says about what we need to do and about mental, about resilience, that we need to figure out what we want for life. And also Nicole mentioned that it's time to because I think the last few years people they focus a lot on materialistics and to make more money, and we lost ourselves. We lost our communication with our loved ones and with our families. It's a part of the society that has been structured that we lost a lot of even families. You know, now it's a good time for families to reconnect. So I think it's. First of all, we are very lucky. We are very lucky because we're living. I'm coming from overseas. I'm living in Australia the last 10 years in Melbourne. in Europe, all my family is my friends in Greece at the moment. Greece is doing all right, but I think most of the Europe, especially Southern Europe and England as well, it's a massive problem regarding the virus.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're very lucky that we're living here. Australia is managing this situation quite well, in my opinion, and we'll try to follow the rules.
Yeah.
But it was a bit of testing regarding what we need to do and regarding because it was all of a sudden, something happened extremely fast in our lives. And so I think we coped it very well. But now I think it's time to come back to the society slowly.
And I agree, Peter. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Just a very quick question, if I may. What attracted you to the summit here today? I mean, what is it that you really want to get out of it and walk away with?
Listen, as I'm staying inside because I'm still in isolation, I'm trying to educate myself.
Okay.
To educate, to read as much as possible, and I'm trying to also to communicate with other mutual people that we share the same interest, because I think it's a great time for education at the moment. Education in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Learning machines key, isn't it? It's really important to learn as much as
education,
we can.
Of course, education is strength. For me, if you learn every day, it's you have to take action. It's not only to learn, but you need to take action in the society to inspire people, or to inspire especially the young generation that they want to follow something that they're not be aware yet. And I think it's very important. And what you, especially because you are professionals, what you guys doing, it's very, very, and you've got many people to listen to you and follow your advice. So it's very useful.
That's all. Thanks so much, Peter. And you hit the nail on the head there. It's great to learn, but what are you going to do with the education? That's what's key. Yeah. So it's about taking action on the learning, not just learning and doing nothing with it.
Of course.
So
of course.
That's cool. Thank you, Peter. And
You're
it's lovely
welcome.
to meet you in person.
Lovely
so stay on for a little while longer.
I'm going to stay. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thanks, Pete. And Nicole, you mentioned it's more difficult in many countries. It is, absolutely. And you've been sending some money to the Phil. Oh, wow. Ellen, thank you, to provide meals. Oh, isn't that beautiful, Nicole? That's fantastic. Wow, there's a lot going on in those countries in particular too at the moment, isn't there? And there is no welfare. We're so lucky here in Australia, aren't we? I mean, we've got so many, so much help and assistance, and everything's just incredible. Now, Laurellen shares to rise above it. Yeah, absolutely. So interesting to see how soon things can change. That's it, and they are slowly changing. And how wonderful is it that we've come out of it, meeting so many new people and learning so many new things and making so many amazing connections and networks as well. I think I've never been on so many Zoom calls in my life since over the past few weeks. It's been pretty incredible. Yes, it is a bit like having your cake and eating it. Lovely, lovely. That's awesome. Fantastic. So, Beck, would you like to add anything to I know I do that a lot. I just sort of surprise people. You can't hear. You're going to have to unmute yourself. You don't know how to. It's fine. Makes two of us. Won't do it. That's okay. Nicole, is there anything you'd like to share? There we go.
I've got it. So, yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to respond to Laurellen's comment. I'm completely, totally my thinking as well. And I was talking to someone who, can't remember actually whether I was talking to them or I was reading it, but I think I was talking to someone at one point who was talking about having been through this in Eastern Europe when things were awful, and then they came out the other end. And apparently the average is about 6 months in terms of how long it lasts. And so wouldn't it be phenomenal if we can just keep feeding the message? We can remind people, at least my kids have been saying, my daughter is really excited that she's going to go into the future being able to talk about the great COVID virus of 2020 and how she can talk to her grandchildren about how they coped and all of these things. So, if we remember and take responsibility for making change ourselves, and then continue to just remind our children. You know, it's something, I think it's an amazing event for their growth and their development as humans. Such a massive lesson.
Absolutely. I can't agree
the
more.
whole, you know, kids are very environmentally aware, and watching the planet and what's happening now and all of those things, they're all amazing things to draw back on and to be able to continue the growth and the education, which, so I think I get a bit passionate. This is really exciting in a sense. And, you know, you kind of feel like you can't be excited about it because it's hard. It's really freaking hard right now. But if you're going to take anything from it, then take it forward and continue to just reconnect with it and allow and help our kids reconnect with it so they remember, because I think it's really important. So thank you for that comment. I think that was, fabulous.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Thanks, Beck. And you made such a great comment there too, in terms of behavioural flexibility is so key, isn't it? I mean, to be behaviourally flexible, to sort of slip into different challenges and different circumstances in life, that's pretty key, to be able to just slip into stuff. And when our kids can just do that, like going to school and all of a sudden they're homeschooled, which probably a lot of kids are loving, by the way, but then a lot of kids aren't. I know my grandkids at the moment, you know, the older ones, they're at home, and the younger of the three older ones turned around and said, "Mum, when do I go back to school? I'm not liking the way you're teaching me. I prefer my teacher." So, I mean, that's a pretty good little, so they're loving it, but they're not all at the same time. So it's been definitely a journey. Absolutely. No, it's been good. Awesome. Thanks, Beck. Anything else, Yaja or Madhu or Nicole, anything you'd like to add? I'm just, we've still got 13 participants on, and we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on. I'd love to hear more about what the rest of you have enjoyed this morning, and what you've sort of, I guess, what's come up for you, what you've loved, what you've learned, and how much you're looking forward to the remainder of the speakers that are coming up.
I'm thinking that some of the people may have left there.
Yes.
Just logged in and just headed off to grab lunch.
Possibly.
Or something. Yeah, which is possible. I don't know because I went off to get my lunch, or breakfast, I should say. And I was wondering, did we talk much about the difference between the coach and the mentor, the first session of Amy's?
Amy spoke about that a bit, but we haven't sort of touched on it as much here.
Yeah,
no?
meaning, now during this session, did we discuss that much? Maybe that.
Greg did raise it, and that's something that has sort of come up for him, and something that he's going to explore even more outside of here. So I think that's a great takeaway for Greg.
Yeah, I think that was very, very eye-opening for me, actually. Personally, I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks, Amy, for highlighting the difference between coaching and mentoring, because I really, sometimes when people ask me, right, so I sort of struggle with bringing out the difference. Now it's very, very clear in my mind. Okay, so mentoring is about helping someone improve their skills. Business coaching is actually getting into the mindset, and also the clear benchmarks that you gave. Like, you know, if someone is committed, is driven, is taking the action, then mentor them. Like, you know, that's going to be helpful. Whereas if someone is not doing that, is actually being resistant, that has the skill but is still not getting the results, taking enough action, it's time to really evaluate coaching. So that was really a really good takeaway for me. Even in terms of helping leaders. Because as a coach, when I go to organizations and have a conversation, it's so much more valuable to talk about this kind of a differentiation, and showing them what's possible, like, you know, where to bring in mentoring, vis-a-vis where to use a coach, or why it is better off that they sometimes outsource coaching rather than trying to get into it, because it could lead to burnout. And also, what I learned about the conflict of interest, because it is impossible for a leader to actually bring a coaching hat when they do have outcomes that they are tied to with respect to a person. I don't think an employee will be vulnerable or will be okay to share with vulnerability everything that they would with a coach, vis-a-vis with a manager. So that was a really wonderful one for me.
Thanks for sharing, Madhu. Thank you so much. Amy, is there anything you'd like to add to that or elaborate? You're good. Thanks so much. I do agree. You know, mentoring coaches, Amy said, two different skill sets totally, and we sort of tend to, I think particularly, and Peter said mentor can advise business or just individual persons. Yes, absolutely. And as coaches can too, Peter. I think it's just about having the skill set and the communication skills and everything that you need to be able to differentiate those and do it right. Because when it's not done right, it can turn to conflict and cause other things as well. But Beck was going to say something there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think there's I don't know what you describe it as necessarily, but maybe it's just leader. There's a sort of in between. So there's, you get a lot of leaders who want to learn to be a coach. And so that they, coaching is, to us, it's more about mindset. It's more about understanding how to remove blocks and to get people moving forward, I suppose. And often a leader will learn to be a coach, and they will learn just a different way of approaching leadership. So it's kind of lots of questioning, and it's the concept of helping your person, the person in your team, find their own way forward, find their own solutions, find their answers, rather than feeding that to them. So I don't know, I suppose you'd just call it a different kind of leadership, but I think a lot of leaders think that's their version of coaching. Does that make sense? So when you go and talk to an organisation, we talk to somebody about coaching versus mentoring, they often sort of see that middle zone as the coaching, and don't understand or value the concept of coaching.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think where the gap is, and I could be wrong, but what I've noticed is there's not enough questions asked.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of telling. And whereas, and they think that they're coaching by telling, but they're not coaching by telling. They're actually just telling, and they're forgetting to ask enough questions. And I think when we ask questions, we start to explore how the other person is thinking, so that then moves them along too. And a lot of leaders lack that too. A lot of leaders bring their own opinion into it, and it shouldn't be like that, because our opinion should not matter. It's really about how does that other person feel, where are they at, what would they like it to be like. So I trust we're on the same wavelength there, Beck.
Yeah, I think so. To an extent. And I think though that leaders kind of get, I mean, it is a kind of coaching. It's a different style of leadership than authoritative leadership.
Yes.
But it's a bit like, when you're teaching your children, like Amy was talking about before, we have the training wheels. Well, you can't hold on to your child the whole time. They've got to find their own way of balancing, and they've got to make the mistakes to learn. And so I think some leaders that I've come across belief in coaching is that they're coaching, which they are to an extent, but the value of having a coach who's going to get to a different place
outcome
with the team is a different value. I'm trying to make sense. I hope that makes sense. I love Amy's take on this.
Happy to share. So my thinking is that the biggest obstacle that a leader is going to encounter in terms of attempting like a level of closer to the purest coaching is that they come with an agenda. So it would be rare, even in like a sports club or something, the leader in the sports club, they're trying to win the game. There's an agenda there that, and any time there is an agenda put in place, we're not purist coaching, we're bordering that blend of coaching and mentoring. So whenever there's an external outcome, we can't come with it's why we're encouraged not to coach family, friends, children, because we're invested in the outcome. So a leader within a corporation is invested within the outcome. They have productivity results that they're wanting to bring to life. Even if they're the owner of the business, they've got something that they're trying to bring to life through the business. And so instantly it can't be purely about connecting the person to their resources because there's this agenda in place, which is why you need someone external, someone without that agenda. Because whenever there's an agenda in place, it's not coaching, it's more along the lines of mentoring.
Yeah.
It depends on the arena. So in the corporate arena, there's definitely, like, in anywhere in business, purist coaching is not appropriate for a leader to bring, because there is an agenda, there are goals, there are KPIs, there are profits to be made. There are, even in a non-profit organisation, there's still money to be exchanged and there's things that need to get done. And so anywhere where we've got that agenda, it's why as coaches it's so clear that we need to not bring our map and not bring our own agenda. It's what does the client want? But in a workplace, it's not what do you want as an employee, because if our employers came and said to us, what do you want as an employee? Half of the population would say, well, I want to sit at home, I want to sit on my couch, I want to binge watch Netflix, and I want you to pay me for it. But they can't do that. That's just not, I mean, there's a bunch of people that's not what they'd want. They want their level of fulfillment and they want their level of productivity, and they can serve the business. But if there's a mismatch there in any way, shape or form, you can't coach it anymore because there's the agenda in place. And I think that's the piece that a lot of leaders are missing. It's, I want this person, I can see their potential. And the moment we say that, we've placed an outcome on the conversation. Like, I see your potential to be such a great, I don't know, data entry technician. But if that's not what the person wants to be, even if they are great at it, does it light them up? Does it fulfill them? But we've placed the outcome on it, which is mentoring or like business. Like it's not coaching, because the outcome for coaching always has to come from inside the client. The moment we step outside of that, we're not doing coaching.
Yeah. I like what Lorellen said. She said that a lot of leaders are looking to create mini-me's or hire mini. I think they hire mini-me's as well. And so, yeah, exactly to your point. Yeah.
Yeah. And I find it occasionally, some of the business coaches that I've worked with, they're like, I think you'd be awesome at like facilitating on stage. And it's like, that's not what I want to do. But you'd be so good at it. It's like, I can no longer work with you as a coach, maybe as a mentor, but I can no longer work with you as a coach because you've now placed your agenda on my business. And it so anything where someone else is bringing the agenda, it's not coaching. It's potentially collaboration, it's potentially mentoring, it's potentially lots of things. But it's not, because coaching is, what do you want? How do I help you connect with what you want?
Absolutely. Yeah. It happens a lot, doesn't it? Awesome. Thanks, Amy. So are we taking a bit of a break now for 10 minutes and then starting at 2 o'clock? Is that the agenda, everybody?
Yeah, I think so.
Terrific. I just want to say thank you for chilling out and having some lunch with us and sharing.
Thanks so much, Alex. It was fantastic.
No worries. Thanks, Yaja. And thank you to each and every one of you for being here at lunchtime. And I look forward to seeing you at 3, but also 2 with Claire, I think is next.
Great job, Alex.
Yeah, terrific.